It's the 21st century, and it's time for you to break free from the old ideas, the old beliefs, the old shackles that have been holding you back and keeping you bound in misery and failure. It's time to learn the truth about your power and about what's really going on in the world. Everything that you see and experience is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. Nothing more, but nothing less. Learn the truth. Change your life. Change the planet. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Reality Changer Radio Show. We're back from our hiatus, and all new episodes starting tonight. My name is Dickey, and I'll be your host. And tonight I'm going to talk about the problems that we have when we're trying to manifest stuff and create new things in our life. Because we've been brought up to believe certain rules apply, and they do, but the rules are different than what we've been taught to believe. We've been taught to, in amongst the goal setting, which is good, we've been taught to, break it down. Let's make this happen, make this happen, make this happen, make this happen. Well, that's fine if you're only going to create stuff on the external. When you manifest, what gets in the way is the old ways of thinking. A lot of people go, well, I've been doing all this and it just isn't working. Perhaps you need to take a second look at what it is you've been doing. When we're building something, we need to make sure that let's say, for instance, we've got a house. All right, we want the perfect house, and we're going to get it built. And so what we need a carpenter. But we don't just need any carpenter. It's our house. We want the best carpenter we can find. We also want the best floor people and the best painters and the best contractors. Okay, so we worry about those things because we know that there's good ones out there and not so good ones out there. And we worry due to a fear of lack when it comes to our knowledge. You hear it all the time. Well, I don't know anything about that. How am I going to find a guy that knows what he's doing? You come from a fear of lack. So there's two things going on there. There's a belief that there's a lack of your knowledge, which there isn't, because it doesn't matter if you're really going to get it done, even though you've been told it matters. And there's the fear of that lack. So right out of the gate, you're done before you even get started. Okay? A lot of things are like that. For instance, you're ordering food. You want to bring, the food isn't that great, so then you send it back and you have those old jokes where people worry about people spitting in your food or just ignoring you or all these other details that don't mean crap. They did when all you were doing was living on the external. And even then, they weren't going to help you because ask anybody about that kind of stuff, thousands of years, people aren't satisfied. The reason they're not satisfied is because doing it on the external isn't the way to get it done and then move forward. So these types of programming and beliefs have an opportunity to get in the way when you're trying to do this differently, because now you've got this old dogma in your head that you have to worry about the carpenter and you have to worry about the weather, when you're building your house, and you have to worry about tearing out your kitchen, and you have to worry about all this stuff when you don't. So you start to build this wall between you and what it is that you're trying to create or manifest. And in reality, the wall is imaginary. Because the wall is built up of all your fears and concerns that don't mean crap. They really don't. It has nothing to do with getting the job done. And getting the job done is getting your house built. Okay? It's just like when you're at work and you're part of a team and you start owning, in a sense, other team members' responsibilities because you worry about whether or not they're capable, or as capable as you, I should say, because your ego steps in, of getting the job done to where they need to so that what you do matches perfectly with what they do. And this has been a false concept forever, and it goes back to childhood again. Listen, if somebody's dropping the ball, you got to pick it up and run with it. If somebody's not pulling their weight, then you got to do some more. No. And you see, these types of beliefs and programming when we're young express themselves in so many different ways when we get older. But they all have the same source. Incorrect information, programmed into you when you're young, with these arcane ideas that you're responsible for everything when other people don't do what they're supposed to do. Because that's how a productive person works. That's how a great person works. That's how you show people that you gave 150%. Listen, first off, there ain't no such thing as 150%. It's a saying. However, it's a dangerous saying. Dangerous because it invokes a mindset and a philosophy of going the extra mile. And that philosophy is based on the concept that you may have to go the extra mile because somebody's going to be around to drop the ball. Now, I want you to start thinking a little differently. I want you to start thinking of these people that you're taking up the slack for as the players in a game, and the only thing that's really important is winning the game. What's not important is whether or not you know the other players have done their job. Let me say that again. It's not important. In order to win the game, it is not important for you to know if the other players have done their job, correctly or incorrectly. All you need to know is, what does it look like if you've won the game? What does it look like if the house is exactly the way you want it? What does it look like when the project is finished and everyone's happy? Now, not being concerned with the other team members or players or whoever else is involved does not mean that you automatically take on everyone's risk and responsibility because you're not going to, quote unquote, monitor their behavior. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. All you really want, really, and need, is not what you've been told. What you want is, you want the thing, whether it's the house or the game or the project or whatever it is, you want that at a state of perfection. Whatever that looks like. All the players involved is the how. And you've been taught to worry about the how. Well, Joe didn't bring his tools today, so I don't know how productive he's going to be. And you start talking about that stuff too. Because you bond with other players, team members, project people, whatever, workers, family. You bond with others who have the same, what's called, and I hate this word because there's nothing, just because, the same work ethic as you. And both of you kind of chum along and then kind of make snide remarks and little jokes and looks and and noises and hand waves, either towards or about the people that you have determined are not as committed to whatever it is you're all doing as you are. And that's just your projection on them of your standards on them. And it has nothing to do with them. It has to do with you and your incorrect notion of how to get it done right. Okay? So what I'm talking about here is a complete revision on the way that you approach everything in your life. From wanting a new pair of pants, to getting the project done at work, to scoring 6 goals on your hockey team. Okay? 6 goals, 100 goals, 500 goals, 1 goal. That is not what's important. What is important is that your team wins. That's all. That is bringing your game to a state of perfection. Whether or not Ed does 27 PowerPoint presentations and John does 3 doesn't mean anything. What's important is that the project is completed on time and is acceptable. That is the project in its state of perfection. Okay? Everything that you want has to be brought to a state of perfection in order for you to have it. Whether you're working on it on the external or you're manifesting it from the internal. And that state of perfection, it depends on you not losing focus on the state of perfection and diverting your focus off to the details of John in his 27 Ed in his 27 presentations and John with 3. Those are distractive details. You see, the concept here is, and it's true, when you are able to bring your manifestation, whether it's external or internal, into its own state of perfection, the details are automatically taken care of. You want to run around and piss and moan about this one and that one and whine that this guy's not doing as much as I'm doing and all this other stuff. You're never going to get anything done. And what you're going to do is you're going to put yourself in a state of aggravation and frustration, which sends out wrongly qualified energy and creates crap for you instead of what you really want. And then, because of your old school programming, you blame it on all these guys you were whining about, that now you have a crappy day, and you know it's because of them, and that makes you even angrier and more frustrated. And it's all a lie. It's all crap. This is not how you have an awesome life. This is not how you create something into its own state of perfection. You've been taught to worry about things that will keep you in the treadmill inside the hamster cage, just going and going and going and going. No end, no beginning, no end, no beginning. In reality, once you remove your attachment to these details, these extras, and focus all of your attention 100%, because like I said, there is no 150%, that's half of somebody else's too. 100% focus on your creation, whether it's external or internal. The creation of the thing, the visualization of the thing, the manifesting of the thing into its state of perfection automatically handles all the details. It all comes to play. And I'll tell you why. If the project comes in on time and everyone likes it, it's an obvious leap to the next conclusion, and that conclusion is that the team did a great job. Okay? Doesn't matter who did what on the team did a great job. If your team wins the hockey game, it's automatically assumed that your team is awesome. Not that, 7 players didn't do anything and only one guy scored a goal. No, you guys won. End of story. That is the game in its state of perfection. So why in the world, when you're concerned about making sure that your team wins, or making sure that the project comes in on time and is liked, why in the world would you waste your time on who does what? That's not important. You could have everybody spread out and everybody working equally and all this other cool stuff and still come up with a pile of crap in the end because it's not in its state of perfection. You see, because you've shifted your focus from creating something perfect to creating a perfect John or creating a perfect Henry or creating a perfect Charlotte. That's really what you're doing. You're dissipating the energy that you could easily use to create the perfect project because you've been taught to bother yourself, and you will butt into their business when it's none of yours. You've been taught to bother yourself about them and worry about them and talk to family members and friends about them, so that just keeps it going and going and going. And express your concerns. And then, of course, there's always going to be somebody that wants to ask that one question that gets you really freaked out. And now you're all worried. And you're in a bar drinking and there's nothing you can do until tomorrow. Stop it. Just stop it. You have been, how can I say this politely, you've been lied to. This is not how you get stuff done. If you're trying to manifest out there, if you're actually trying all this stuff I teach you and others teach you, and you're trying to manifest and stuff ain't happening, check yourself at the door. Check to see what it is exactly that you're doing in order to create what you want into its own state of perfection. I tell people for the longest time, years, that this is not rocket science. Is it magic? Hell yeah. Was it once considered miracles and divine intervention? Hell yeah. It's still divine intervention. All the power that you have comes from God. It always has and always will. What's really cool is that you get to play with it and create whatever you want. However, you can't use the divine internal power and play by the external rules. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. But what's really cool is that you can use the external and play by the divine internal rules, and everything works just fine. So when you're out there, I want you to take some time and think about what it is that you're doing, Let's say, for instance, I'm going to throw something out here. You want your kid to go to rehab, okay? And you talk to him and talk to him and talk to him and talk to him and talk to him about rehab. And then you butt your nose in because you've been told that's your job as a parent. And you make all kinds of appointments. You run all over the place. You take time off from work. You talk to your spouse. You get all pissy about it. You get upset about it. You get worried about it. You go through all this angst about it because you've been told this lie that this is somehow your responsibility, when the only way that would happen is if they were not as powerful as you. The only time anyone is anyone's responsibility is when that person is not as powerful as anyone else. And that's never happened. Never, 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 never. Because we all come from God. God instills the power into each one of us and gives us what the Bible says is free will. The free will allows us to decide whether or not we're going to be dopes. Plain and simple. Are we going to be a dope and just hang out in the external and point at everything and go, ooh, that's this, that's this. Or are we going to be smart about it, use our free will and say, look, I got this power. Everybody's got this power. What the hell am I doing beating my head against the wall? You got to wake up here. At some point, you have to take a look at what's going on around you and say, it ain't working. I got to do something radically different. And the radically different, once you get the concept of what you have to do, then it becomes quite clear just how easy this could have been right along. The external will have you worried about all kinds of things. Let's say you got that house going, like I said, I got to find a proper contractor, and I got to look through here, and I got to check his references, and I got to talk to neighbors, and are the neighbors lying? Is it their relative? Oh, well, is he going to be drunk? Most contractors are drunk. They don't show up on time. All these weirdo things that we make up in our heads, okay? And then they happen because that's how freaking powerful we are. Even the crap happens because we think about it. And that's something I want you to think about too, just how powerful we really are. A bunch of little mini gods and goddesses running all over the planet, wondering why they had a shitty day when they woke up and go, God, I feel lousy. Somebody do the math for me, please. Is anyone ever going to wake up? I mean, there's a whole bunch of people out there waking up. Are you one of them? If not, brother, you better get on the bandwagon. Because 2012 has come and gone. We are in full swing in the shift. There are millions and millions of people on the planet waking up to what I'm talking to you about right now. The deal is this. We are so freaking powerful that even just to get the concept in our head when we start our day that it might be a bad day will create some sort of a bad day depending on how that looks throughout the day for you. Okay? That's how freaky it is. Okay? That's how powerful you are. Now, the free will comes into play here when you start to say, well, I don't believe it. Okay, fine. You don't have to. Let me know how it's working for you. Let me know how living on the external with all those old school notions that you have no power and that you're at the mercy of everybody else and that it's all their fault that your life sucks, right? Because you're not in control. You don't have any power, right? They have all the power over you, right? Please. Seriously? No, it's not the way it is. So if you're out there manifesting and stuff is just not happening the way you want it to, and you feel like you're working too hard at it, then guess what? You're working too hard at it. You shouldn't be working hard at it at all. Because along with the power is patience. It's been thousands of years since we lost the concept that we've been born from day one with this power. How long is it going to take? I mean, think about it. Do the math on this one. How long will it take before we all wake up and just go, oh yeah, I could just do this. Okay, done, bang, over with, next. So, get some patience going here. If you can develop patience and slow down your routine so that you have more time every day to do the proper manifesting and creating, one of the first things that's going to happen is your day is going to seem like it went by quickly and you're going to have more time, and then you're going to sit down at some point and go, I never had this much time during the day. I didn't think I had enough time to change my life for the better. Wow, I got all this time now because I gave myself time. Because time doesn't exist. But I'm not going down there today. Where I'm going from today is this. Stop wasting your time, manifesting incorrectly. Focus on what it is that you want to create. Focus on it in its state of perfection, whatever that looks like for you. Perfect for me doesn't have to be perfect for you. We all get to make that choice. What does it look like? It looks like a bowl of spaghetti. It looks like a bowl of lice. I see spaghetti, you see lice. We're both right, in a sense, because that's what it looks like to us. All right? So don't judge your success on anyone like you've been told to. Don't judge your opinions by anyone like you've been told to. Because it's nobody's damn business what you do. And with that said, it's none of your business what anyone does. Even if they're involved in your project or they're a player on your team, it's not your business. Your business is to create a state of perfection for what it is you want. You could be the one, listen, let's say you're playing on that hockey team. You don't have to score a goal, not one goal, to ensure that the team wins. I'm pausing here deliberately. You do not have to score a goal to be sure the team wins. Well, then what do I do? I'm going to tell you. What you do is you manifest the win. You manifest the team in its state of perfection in the win-loss column. And then it doesn't matter. Who cares who gets how many goals? You're not on a team for individualized glory. Okay, you want that? Go run track. Go be a boxer or something. You're not on a team for individualized glory. You're on a team to help the team win. What better way to help them win than to manifest a freaking win? Okay? So, and I don't want to hear about, well, they'll kick me off the team. No, they won't. You see, here's the thing. There is no such thing as bad side effects to anything unless you believe there is. If you believe there is, then there is for you. But only for you. Which is why you'll hear so many people say, here's a great one, and you'll relate. I don't know why that guy doesn't get fired. He doesn't do half the stuff we do. Because in his world, it doesn't matter. In your world, it does. So if you were to try to be as much of a slack-off, as you would call him, as he is, you'd be gone. Because in your reality, in your manifesting rules, that's not proper. And you have already instilled in your head a result of that type of behavior, which is to lose your job. This person does not, which is why they keep their job. It's as simple as that. People go, oh, you're crazy. Yeah, I probably am crazy. But I'm also right. Because that's how powerful we are. The same techniques that you use to create something when everyone else around you says you're crazy is the same techniques, whether he knows it or not, that this guy is using to keep his job when he doesn't do half the work anybody else does. Okay? It's true. This is the way it all works. So stop wasting your time when you're manifesting. If it seems, like I said, if it seems like you're working too hard, you are. And it's time to stop and take a breather. And you need to be able to let it go. Remember, the longer you hold on to all of those concepts about your manifestation, the longer you hold on to all those concepts. And you don't release them so that they can materialize. You can't constantly be on it, because then you're not letting it go. That's also another way that it works. Okay? So I'm going to be getting more radical and more in your face in some of the shows that you're going to be hearing here in the near future, because I think it's time for everybody to just start owning up to their own divinity. Okay? The biggest thing that I want to talk about today is not wasting your time, but I have got some shows for you that are just going to make you sit back and go, what did he just say? Yeah, absolutely. Okay? Get ready for them, which is why we had the hiatus. Got all this stuff planned. The book's coming out this year. The store's coming out this year. Listen, go to whatyouthink.com. Okay? That's my website. There you're going to see a whole bunch of videos on the video tips page. I strongly suggest you watch each one of them in its entirety. Not all at once, not one right after the other, but I strongly suggest you watch each one of those. And all of those people, listen, I'm not saying just watch those, but all of those people that I chose, these are leaders, except for the dead guy, because, he's dead. But all of those people are leaders in this movement for reawakening. You can never go wrong by listening to anything those people have to say. Greg Braden, Wayne Dyer, David Icke, Abraham Hicks, Bob Proctor. I mean, come on. Anything those guys have. All right? So do yourself a favor and go onto my website. I handpicked those specifically because I think those, if you can grasp those, I think those are some of the most vital videos that these people have done. And collectively, if you had a collection, just like, your toolkit, okay, I would say this would be your video toolkit right here. Okay? And again, you won't go wrong listening to anything they have to say. Each one of them has a million videos, but these particular ones right here, I believe, are vital to watch and listen and grasp the concept of what is being said. I really do. Because we're all talking about the same thing. And the reason that we keep talking about it is not to harp on a subject because we don't have anything better to do. The reason we keep talking about it is because we want you to experience exactly what we have. We have had so much success using these techniques, it's incredible. It's just off the hook. So when any one of us gets excited or produces a new video or a new radio show or whatever, it's because here's some more information that we have tried and tested, that we have learned from another master, whatever, that we know works because we don't produce these things until we've tested them. It would be ridiculous for us to do that. That would be the old external way. Just throw a bunch of crap at the audience and let's see what sticks. No, we don't do that. And we never will. We're here because we feel called to help others gain the knowledge that is true, that is ancient, and that is the only way. And by gaining this knowledge, by understanding these principles, and by applying them on a daily basis, what do you gain out of it? Freedom. True freedom. And the more that you create true freedom and happiness for yourself, the more that's going to spread. Okay? So what you think is whatyouget.com. Check out the videos. I highly recommend it. You'll also see some ads up there for the daily techniques, the happiness meditation, that kind of stuff. Listen, it's $5. And it's going to help you through your whole day. Okay? Grab a hold of it. Make it part of your toolkit. All right? The store is going to be opening up soon, and there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff on there. And we're going to be featuring products from everybody, including my own products, but products from Burt Goldman and Bob Proctor, Esther Hicks, you name it, we're going to be down there. Wayne Dyer, okay? So all of this stuff is going to be in one central location so that you can just go to our store and just pick whatever you want. And we'll be rotating special guests every month. It's going to be off the hook, all right? Which is why it's taken so long to get the store going, okay? So let's sum it up, and then I'm going to leave you guys alone till next time. Stop wasting your time when you're manifesting. Number 2, if you think you're working too hard at trying to create something, you are. And number 3, only focus your intention and all of your power on the final outcome, not the how. And forget all of those details, because those will automatically be taken care of if you can create the final outcome all on its own. It has to. You can't have a beautifully running car that never breaks down without it having come from a place where people do their job. You can't have that. That car comes out of Al's backyard where all his whole family are drunks and drug addicts. That car is probably not going to run too good. Okay? That's the other side of the coin. So when you create something and you want it perfect, or its own state of perfection, and you get the thing, by osmosis, the surrounding details get taken care of. Okay? So stop working so hard and worrying about the details like they've been telling you for years, because that's all crap. Focus on what you really want. Remember to let it go so it will go out there and manifest. And enjoy life. And remember how powerful you are. Just saying, I don't feel like today is going to be a great day, is going to make today not so much of a great day. Okay? That's how powerful you are. All right? So, I love all of you. So glad to be with you on this journey of enlightenment and awakening that we're all on right now and we're in the middle of. And I hope every one of you has an awesome time with whatever you do. Remember, if you're not happy, nothing matters. And that goes for everything. So, until next time, I love you all. Good night.